This is where Draven shine.
Welcome everybody to day 3 of the 2022 League of Legends College Championship presented by State Farm. But before we take a look at the overall matches today, let's take a quick look at our bracket to see what went down yesterday, in fact. Now, as we did see, as things went down, of course, Converse did 2-0 up against MSU, and Bay State took a 2-1 victory in a very, very close third game up against UCI.
It's a chip on their shoulder, but also a big target on their back,
Yes.
it seems, because of how dominant they have been in the past. Every team wants that opportunity to take them down, and what a better time to go for that goal than when you are in the top 4 here at the college championship.
And Shady getting the recon, we have seen him dictate early games, get Maryville leads in so many situations with this recon, and it will be locked in. So now we'll see what Shogo ends up pulling out. We expect him to have this last pick.
We don't always get to see the Xayah and the Rakan together, but when you do, it is a grand old time. St. Thomas looking to make their last lockdown. We saw the support spanned away by Maryville, but that Galio going towards the bot lane, you kind of know what's going to happen here. So who do they decide to bring for their last pick? It's the Veigar coming through. It is very common in the college championship or any collegiate play compared to other leagues to have those specialty picks for the players that can completely dismantle the opposing squad. But you have to assume that Maryville do have a plan up their sleeve going into this matchup. Taking the game number 1 of our best of 5 semifinal series, Maryville and UST looking to start strong.
This could be interesting early. Both teams grouped up as 5. Rengar level 1, the ability to jump out of brushes in the jungle can be so powerful. As it looks like Maryville going for a late invade, seeing if anyone's in that brush. They will not find anyone, but I'm curious, do they go north or are they going to be spotted here by UST?
The time that has passed thus far starts to usher a couple of backs, but not from everyone, though. Still remaining in the vicinity. UST aware that Maryville are here as well, but everyone approaching this fairly cautiously.
Oh, no. Here we go.
Fine jungle right there in the middle of the bridge, getting burned down. Knock up onto 3 members of UST. It's a 1-for-1 trade. Both junglers taken away. Chuki's next to fall, even using the flash prior. Porsche is still being pursued. Flashes away to create some distance. Maryville don't go after it. 3 kills already, Cubby.
That Rengar taken out immediately, I think, was the right call. Wasn't allowed to continue the jump throughout the brushes, and Maryville, that level 1, actually able to find an advantage, set that Rengar behind. He will be late to his camps by a little bit, doesn't have flash, so that first gank may not be as powerful. I think this is a great start for MU.
Something that UST were looking to try and build some momentum off of, but it feels that Maryville got them bested a bit. As far as summoners as well, you have to be wary of Azog not having cleanse, the ignite previously used by Shady, and then multiple flashes on the side of UST from, you have Porsche in the top and this jungle position, and Chuki's down in bot.
We'll see both junglers are going to work towards that bot lane first as Shogo. That's an early flash. We'll be able to at least win out on the health bar trade, but Shady, they're going to be happy taking away that summoner from the immobile Veigar. I mean, for a lot of these teams, it is their first time playing on a big stage or the LCS studio, but for these teams, it's not. Gotta pause though, Niles.
He is here on Kitsuo, collapsed upon by Kind Jungle as well, and Robbie Bob was zoned off by APA. Another kill for Maryville. All the while, the danger is going down in the bot lane. Azog getting the shield up from Shady, so some safety to be had here. Kitsuo able to get the back here.
And that early roam from Niles, he forced Porsche under his turret. Instead of, utilizing that to reset, walk back to lane, he actually walks mid. He does burn his TP for it, but that's well worth it. Again, setting that Rengar, Kitsuo's champion he's been known for, the champion that's been banned away from UST for the tournament, setting him behind his, oh no, Shady!
Oh, Wind War and the knockup to follow, a dead Rakan, so Azog now in his lonesome. I mean, that's the thing off of that play, because Kitsuo forced once again to have that involuntary back after that death. You know that the jungler is not a threat. but it's still not enough for MU to keep both of their members alive. Damage that you can outpour as well and keep them even zoned off here. So APA looking to build that as much as possible. We're still waiting on a lot to hit that level 6 the solo laners for Maryville have. 3v2 here in the bot lane. Kitsuo has made his way to the party, and Shady goes through, gets rooted, and wins the war, zoning off Azog. Burn down, one more slap will do it from Shogo, evening the kill score.
Really well done from the side of UST as they snuck Kitsuo in. The fact that the Event Horizon was thrown, they had the push, and they capitalized off Shady. Again, going over aggressive, getting caught out. The leader, the senior on this Maryville squad, someone that, again, we have praised as the best player in the tournament on one of his better champions. It's been Shogo getting the best of him.
Shogo wants to hit that go-go button on this bot lane whenever his jungler is there to help out.
This has been one of his better tank champions. I think he's showing his mastery on the champions delaying phase that he's been able to execute here. But on the other side of the map, that bot lane pressure that UST has built up with Shogo finally bleeds into a major objective for UST as Dragon's taken and Kitsuo's on the hunt.
They want to keep that ball rolling, so Kitsuo making his way back down here towards the bottom side. Ignite utilized by Shady to back him off as soon as possible.
We'll see if Maryville can utilize the fact that Kitsuo is going to show here to maybe attack the Rift Herald as is started up. Shady baiting Kitsuo.
Double hop, the lockdown, getting the root onto Azog, who uses a Feather Storm to back off here. They knew that Kitsuo was still here because they had that ward down and were wanting to bait him in. But in the end, no lives lost. That dragon was previously taken by UST as well on the bot side, so Maryville want to respond by kicking the Rift Herald top.
And again, Shady, good play, good recovery from him. The fact that he was just baiting Kitsuo in, keeping him there, means that Kind Jungle gets to take this one for free. As I still think that's a trade-up of objectives. I'll always take that Rift Herald over the first dragon on the side of Maryville. As we'll see where they end up using that. Try and break open the lanes. I think they should use it to set that Camille further behind. It's been a really good job from Niles early. If they keep that Camille down, keep Camille from breaking the side, that could be big, but Azog.
The Event Horizon again, as soon as you get locked down by it, there's just a lot of damage to follow up. Not enough for the completion of the kill when they're under tower, but enough to force them back.
More ways to bait out that ultimate from the Xayah too, and a lot more pressure now on the bot lane as APA.
Fine gaze followed up with the stun, the miasma burning down right below. Taunt directly onto Shady as soon as he tried to go in, but it's just Chucky's getting out of here. Mid laner taken down.
One small mistake from that Ivern and APA punishes as it feels like the two mages that we have on the map are the ones that are the big carries in this game. APA now sitting at 2-0-2, taking advantage of that free laning phase he was given against the Ivern. He turns it into a solo kill, turns it into plates going over to him as we're going to have to see if Cassiopeia is able to function later. Vigar, really easy way to deal with Cassiopeia, so APA will have to be very careful with how he positions as now Shogo.
Oh, Featherstorm going out, gets a root as soon as the Blade Caller activates, and now Chucky's is here with one knockup. Azog goes down, Shady's still alive, and Shogo's so low, but Rakan can't finish it off. They take down the 80 carry once more. Kitsuo rotating from the opposite way for the flank as well. Event Horizon just corrals him into a cage here. Bot lane completely taken out, while a couple members of Maryville are in the vicinity. They cannot get there in time to help.
A back and forth game one here as UST. Yes, they drop something mid, but they pick it right back up in the bot lane as Kind Jungle will be looking, but actually he could be in trouble.
There are two in that bush, my friend. Attempts to go for the escape, and as soon as Shogo sees that the action is still going down, the lockdown's too good. Kind Jungle was looking for something.
Overreaching a bit as I guess ults were down, but not enough abilities for him. As we're gonna get a replay, a second look. Again, this trap being laid by Shogo. Oh man, this is real early. What happened here? He based. Oh my goodness, I missed that. Kind Jungle snuck in, he based, Shogo thought he was dead, and somehow because he left, they were able to turn it around in the 2v2. Really well played by Shogo in the back half. Of course, this splash to dodge out on the grand entrance from Rakan. The big thing that turns around this play and also enables the return kill on Kind Jungle later on.
My, oh my, we are seeing where these priorities are coming through, right? UST, They say Shogo's feeling pretty good. You can see him talkative to his team.
You want Cassiopeia in the side lane. That way, if resources are thrown towards her, she can 1v1, 1v2 really well. But because it's stuck mid, it's actually pretty tough for Maryville as they're going to try and break first brick top. Porsche is in trouble, but flashes out.
Timing of the Ornhorn into the Hextech ultimatum for that additional safety. Shady's made his way through, wants to get the charm here with the grand entrance, the quickness. Porsche using the hook shot, creating the distance, but the distance is not enough. All of this pressure over towards that top lane because of the Rift Herald that was previously acquired. It means they get to finish this turret off.
Trade across the map, but I think it's good for Maryville. A good recovery as they are able to break that first turret. This can now enable Cassiopeia to go into the side lane where it could be tough for her to be attacked by this Ivern Rengar. As Cassiopeia very far ahead of the power curve. This will be traded out for the turret in the bot lane, but Maryville with that Rift Herald also picked up the top inner, so that's a huge gold injection and about a 2.5k gold swing going over in their favor.
While they have the gold lead going for them, it is now slightly shortened because of that bot tower being taken down by UST. Again, differences in where their attention is being spent. That second dragon traded and picked up for UST, starting to stack those. Ocean is what's up next, so an Ocean Soul on the horizon. Look at that gold, too, that Shogo has been building up. Even has a couple of rods already in his inventory. So this is starting to be a really hard-hitting. They are 4-0-2 on the kill board already. A lot of funneled gold there.
Maryville oftentimes will not do that. They actually prioritize sides. You can see, again, here, they have a stack of 4 members in the side lane going towards this Rift Herald. That is one way to prevent Rengar, Camille, Galio from finding those plays on the sides, catching out the isolated members in the long lane. So, honestly, Maryville's playstyle, I think, maybe helping them out a bit here, helping them stay protected from what is pretty dire from these Rengar, Camille, Galio combos, but we'll see if Maryville's ready to deal with this team fight. As UST, they are grouped up as 5, and both teams posturing to try and take down the other.
For a moment, it looked like Maryville were ready to back off, but now the Root, Shady, able to escape at the hand of APA. So now UST, they used a teleport to get into the vicinity, Robbie Bob doing so to get here, but as soon as kind of things were not looking like they were guaranteed to be in their favor, they decided to let this objective go over.
Rift Herald and the potential trade as we'll see if Kitsuo is feeling aggressive. Oh boy!
Ooh, Charm lands, Heroes entrance coming on through, knock up onto multiple, the Ornhorn coming through as well, slamming around. Porsche throws down the Hextech ultimatum. They do lose Kitsuo and Chookies, but it's 2-for-1 traded, both junglers eliminated.
I think Kitsuo, the leader of UST, just a little bit too far ahead of his team. It looked like a split call. It looked like UST wanted to trade out that Rift Herald for the mid-outer. So the rest of the group that escaped, a little bit too far away from the fight to follow up on the start that Kitsuo and Chokies had. I think that's why Maryville came out on top.
There aren't really any wards down here by UST, but they know that the lack of intel elsewhere kind of tells them where Maryville are currently positioned. And because they got that Rift Herald previously, it allows them to target the outer turret here down bot. The mid one was already weakened prior, so getting closer to removing that outer edge.
I do like this, though, for Maryville, because we are 10 seconds ahead of this dragon. It is Ocean Soul point on the table for UST. The fact they still have a Shelly going means that UST split and Maryville goes.
Oh, another Ornhorn. It gets knocked back onto Shogo and Robbie Bob, who has to position on the outskirts. Daisy coming through for a few slabs. Forge flashing away. Same for Chookies. All the while, the Rift Herald was slamming onto that turret.
Oh, we see it.
So it does go down because of that damage. Tier 2 taken down in favor of Maryville. So far, it's only the singular live lost from Shogo and MU. They decide to keep themselves clustered together. Dragon has spawned as well, so they could keep this action going elsewhere. Kind Jungle in the center of it all, rimming around. Kind Jungle's trying to go for it, but a knock up here onto Kitsuo, who's now separated from the rest of the team. Maryville still making sure to keep themselves all clustered together so they can't get isolated.
Shogo is here, so that actually bought enough time for UST to get Shogo. He turns on the Nas. He's trying to find someone.
Can he find it, though? Now sitting in the brush, no vision there by UST, so Maryville know that they can't have anyone squishy pop up to them. The Dragon now getting targeted by St. Thomas. This will be soul point for them, so a win condition continuing to evolve off of that bot lane pressure.
And a really interesting set of plays. I think this really does define Maryville, their play style, their strategy. They prioritize side lane and side lane gold over Dragon. And Maryville's doing a great job of taking objectives. It's a 4K gold lead as Niles trying to get back to his team. Does take a little bit of damage, but he is the Ornn.
Does manage to do so. We've seen a couple close times where Shogo tries to get that event horizon down on Shady, but now it's the play being initiated by Maryville. Knock up onto Shogo. They continuously want to take down the Veigar, but Shady right there in the backline gets the shielding, manages to rejoin the rest of the team. Aru and Porsche does fall. Double knock up as soon as that exhaust comes through from Kitsuo. Jungler again taken out of this. So Maryville, what's their response? They're pinging over on that Baron side.
And UST, they just get split up in these fights. Shady, Kind doing such a good job of buying space, making sure that UST cannot get Veigar into the fight, into the state where he's able to blow up the big squishy carries they have on the backline. Because he's never able to step forward, it means that Maryville is shredding the front line with the Cassiopeia, with the Xayah, as they take 2 kills and they take that Baron.
You imagine everyone on Maryville's side is on the same page with that. The way that Niles is throwing down the ultimate, saying, I don't care how many I knock up, I just want Shogo.
And watch Shady. As Shady in this fight, he's gonna walk around this event horizon and just make it so that Shogo can never catch a stun target. Look at how he maneuvers around that, able to at least stall out Shogo, and even able to escape to the Xayah. As Shady and Maryville playing that front to back really, really well. Did a great job of splitting up UST, making sure they could never truly get involved in this fight.
10 seconds on the clock until that dragon spawns. Still have plenty of teleports available, and with the remaining time, some scrapping over here in the mid lane. Niles has to flash away and try and create somewhat of the distance. Chuki's flashing in the opposite direction, but does get knocked up by the Ornn Horn. Azog throwing out the feathers to chunk down that HP, but Maryville are okay with that. They were so aggressively positioned during that time and had Kind jungle over by the objective that they wanted to secure in the first place.
I really think it's going to be on this Camille Galio with Shogo. If they can take a member out of the fight, if they can take out APA, if they can take out Azog really quickly, then UST has a chance. They don't do that. In the elongated team fight, the damage from MU is going to be way too much. Shogo, he's caught, no flash.
Even when there's a Galio by your side, there's too many members of MU. They burn down Shogo, that's the damage that's gone, and now Chucky just wants to escape Justice punches in their direction because he knows his life is going to be not much longer. MU now, all of that pressure they establish across the map before means Kitsuo doesn't have a safe place to go. He's just over here, flashing into the blast cone, going towards the blue side of the map, really just trying to draw some time at this point.
We'll see if UST can get anything else, but hey, all the members are dead. This looks like it's kitty for lunch around here. As Kitsuo, yeah, good night. That'll be free food going over to Azog as APA working on that mid-outer with Niles. And again, Maryville, the fact they're deploying as a team, playing as a squad, playing as a 5-stack with this easy-to-execute team fight comp, it just feels like UST, again, has no way to deal with this. The fact that Kind steps in here, you know, they had this game plan level 1. They must have prepped for this, the fact that we're going to let Rengar through. I think Kind, after that bot lane play, has recovered really nicely, has been really big for his team, and has proven his value in this game as Maryville potentially looking here.
When you see Niles right there, you assume the rest of the team is probably fairly close behind, so UST definitely want to be very tempered in their approach. Niles wants to go on out of it, but the event horizon ends up rooting him as soon as he can. He throws down the ultimate, the Hextech ultimatum in response here. Prince Galio is coming in. So MU starting to get ripped apart here. They don't have their tankiest member into Thesis. Azog goes, but so does Kitsuo to give himself a bit more longevity here. The swinging around Kind really creating that space for MU to retreat with their remaining members. While it looked dire in a moment, they end up winning out the numbers advantage.
That was the start that UST wanted. They had the Camille Galio combo where Maryville wasn't fully there, but again, Shogo never able to truly step up, truly be involved. He still is missing Flash, got scared, and Maryville just tight it out, make sure the Veigar can't pump out any damage. They pick up 3 members and the Baron. Look at this. I mean, again, Niles, tank, the Ornn Horn, is it that effective? Not really. But on the back half, watch how Maryville goes back. The fact that Azog, again, on that Xayah, I think the flash, rip, and going golden here was massive. That did so much damage to the Galio, to the Rengar, and it doesn't allow Shogo to follow his team to walk up. I think USC needs to play these fights slower, make sure the Veigar is pumping out damage at all points of the fight, instead of going too deep, making sure that he can't get involved.
And Azog's looking really strong right now. Look at that damage he was throwing down as soon as the rest of the team could lock down anyone. that impact was very much shown. So Maryville University with multiple threats when it comes to this fight, that was something that started with their tank getting technically a little cut out, but if anyone can withstand the stun net, it's him.
And as the game goes on, does Vigar scale really hard? Yes, but do you have that consistent DPS from a marksman? All these auto attacks being pumped out on the side of UST? No, you drop that to take the Vigar. And the fact that Azog, kiting back, has 3 items plus now, he is massive in this game. He did burn all of his summoner spells though, and Shogo does have flash up, so I think that is still has to be the target for UST. Any chance of coming back in this one, you have to remove Xayah or Cassio immediately in the fight, then play it out from there.
Featherstorm is just now coming back up though, so even without the summoners, does have some kind of escape mechanism should he need to use it. Baron power play still in tow for them to push through. They take down the inhibitor turret, and now because of the pressure and just the speed at which they can get out those autos, they easily take down the inhibitor as well and back off. All the while, Porsche has been pushing this lane over on the top side, getting this wave ushered through. The bounties are available for UST as well to try and get some more of the gold shifting over in their favor, because it's 8.9k over on the Maryville side.
You know it's something they're gonna take. Maryville have fully prepped for this as trying to work on that second inhibitor turret. And again, Porsche is here, but what's stopping him?
Niles forever the initiator, knock up onto Porch, which leads Shady to going right in, gets the charm onto 1 in the follow-up. Kitsuo is effectively brought out. Porsche burned down as well, so even though the lives aren't lost, you eliminate the threat of 1. Oh, look at that damage, forces the flash away from Kitsuo. In the end, the inhibitor goes down. They lost Shady, so Maryville does have to be somewhat worried of that. They had the word, so they should know that Kitsuo is here looking for the flank, and now they're on the retreat, but they got some damage coming through them. Miasma to keep everybody else from UST at bay. That's the teleport coming in. Porsche is here, immediately zoned off, but the double stun onto multiple members of MU. Niles tries to go back into it, while Kind Jungle, Azog, and APA, they just want to retreat. They don't want this fight anymore, but look at the speed at which Porsche can just hop over the wall. He's here to try and block them off. Galio at the ready when needed. Here we go. Hextech ultimatum onto APA. Hero's entrance to bring that Galio in. There's the resurrection as well to bring 1 back to life, but in the end, Porsche taken down. Junkie's taken down. Double kill for Azog. Trying to go for more. GA activated, and Kind Jungle in the air still here. They try and zone off. They get the exhaust out of 1. The team has made their way back to the party. Robbie Bob, you can't go anywhere. Maryville looking so dire. They bring that fight back.
The fact that that was a 3v5 and that was the fight the UST wanted. You play it slow with the Vigar. Make sure that the spells keep on rotating. But when Vigar isn't there, when he can't join the fight, Maryville, that's when they pick their spot. That's when they turn it on UST. They get the ace, and that should be the game.
That's already a Nexus turret down. Teleport coming in to make sure that Maryville have their full squad here for the finish. This is the team that wants to put another championship under their belt. And with this win, they're 1 step closer to getting into the finals. Welcome back to the College Championship. We are getting into game number 2 of Maryville University versus University of St. Thomas.
Like that adaptation from the side of Maryville, whereas we're seeing a lot of bot lane bans thrown out. Is that Jinx ban? Maybe we see an Aphelios coming out of Evan RL. That could be what they're setting up for.
It is interesting, Maryville deciding to still ban away the Vigar here with Shogo, even though they didn't pull out the win. That early phase, you can't forget about the way they were playing towards it, and with Rengar locked in, they don't want to give that. You called out that Callista might be coming through for Evan RL, a very classic pick for him, and it looks like that's what they're going with.
And there's no Tristana answer now for the side of Shogo. So Shogo, his champion pool, again, a player that loves to go in, loves to play aggressive. Into Callista, options are dwindling a little bit. We'll see if he ends up going. He's got Samira, we've already seen in this tournament, but it's actually going to be the Kai'Sa. So Hellblade's Kai'Sa, if you are able to proc that passive on the Kai'Sa and disengage from the trade, can be rather good into the Callista. So now we'll see. I think some hard engage. UST, at this point, I mean, it's all about going in. So I think that committing further to going in, it's almost their only option at this point. Is expecting Chogi to take something to help this team be able to engage. Looking like it's going to be the Nautilus.
They have multiple resources within the kits of the champions that St. Thomas have brought. They can try and keep their targets in line. That was a very fast lock indeed. So Interesting though, Renata coming through, everybody comes at you to try and grab everybody on your team, and you just go, "Ooh, I'm gonna ult you, how about you hit each other?"
Yep, Niles, shady there at the time. If they would have played in 2020 as well, they would have destroyed that year, as that roster, I mean, they took 3rd in scouting grounds out of all the amateur teams we had. So impressive, and really speaks to what Maryville has been able to accomplish, you know, as a program over the years as a whole.
Maryville, a strong program. USD coming off of all of the hype around this roster in their first year as a program themselves.
Good start. Maryville already ahead off first clear.
For that exact reason that you're saying with this pathing of these in, I'll pause on that because then they hop on from Kitsuo directly onto APA. Robbie Bob steps into his own bush because he's too low. They take down one. Flash over the wall from Kind here. And that's first blood. USD drawing it.
Like that from Niles. And again, some of the veterans see some of the experience. Of course, Niles having that LCS and Academy experience. Realizing that, hey, I don't need this cooldown for a couple seconds. I can use it positively here. We see both junglers wrapping up their second full clear, ending up on this bot side. Kind Jungle decides to reset back out on the map, but Kitsuo, he's down here. He's getting pretty close to that level 6. He might be able to leech it off this wave. As we'll see if him and USD make any plays. Here we go.
There he goes in. Unseen Predator really working to his advantage. LaRue onto Evan RL, who gets exhausted. The bail out, giving him that gray health for a short amount of time, but it's not enough. Another kill for UST off of the Kitsuo gank.
Beautiful play from UST. And again, I mean, Kind was trying to read it. Kind was hovering bot, but Kind's behind. Look at the level difference between the two junglers. I think Kind realized that he had to get himself back ahead, so you can see Kind seeing Kitsuo bot will respond, taking some of the topside camps, taking some of that gold and XP away from UST, but for Kitsuo and UST, that's well worth it. He's gotten 2 lanes ahead. He's going to pick up the first dragon of the game. This is a great start, and what they needed in the last game with this Rengar-Ivern combo, they didn't find it there, but they have it in game 2. Snowballing this game early in UST's favor, exactly what they need to do with this competition.
Getting closer and closer to that board drinker here. Niles in pursuit of Porsche. In the vicinity. Porsche does have ultimate now. Activates the needlework. Tries to go in. Niles responds with a slicing maelstrom. Porsche chunked down pretty excessively. A good dredge line onto Kind means his life tether is severed.
And what a read, what a setup from Porsche. I mean, going in the 1v2 to get the health bars, though, to open up that play for the side of UST, and with Choki's hovering to try and make sure they take this Rift Herald, it will be theirs. There is a trade on the bot side. It is 2 plates going over to Maryville now, but again, UST taking that lead, shifting it elsewhere on the map, playing really good in this early game.
Such a different, I want to say very, very different. I'm going to pause that thought actually, because Kitsuo now targeted. Niles was making that rotation over from the top side. Robbie Bob is here though. Another jump through. Kitsuo backs off. The Chaos Storms drop down. Kitsuo doesn't mind jumping right back into it because he does have that supportive capability of Robbie Bob in the vicinity, but that's going to be the end of the game.
I still just love watching this Rengar-Ivern. How comfortable Kitsuo is playing it. Like the fact he's jumping into the 1v2s, knows the windows, knows how to use his empowered abilities to get something back. The W to get all that health back there on the Rengar. Really good play coming out of the side of UST, and because they win out that skirmish, because Niles forced to base in that top side, that Rift Herald, a little bit delayed, but will be going over to UST.
Continuing to secure the objectives across the map.
These players are used to this pressure. UST, it feels like they're the ones that are starting to get used to this pressure. First year of the program, some of these players, just getting into amateur, just making their names known. This is something where, slowing down this game, Maryville, that's where experience pays off, but UST trying to turn it back.
Kitsuo silenced as soon as he goes in, which ushers the calling of Kind Jungle. The bat line kicks away. Joki's here, who's now rooting Kitsuo right there on the outskirts, joined with the rest of his team. While nobody has fallen just yet, both of the junglers are kind of brought out of the fight with their HP, and no one can secure.
But Maryville does that in a 4v5. Niles was never a part of the fight, so Niles gets to mow down that top lane. Funnel things for himself as Maryville. The fact they're weathering the storm, absorbing these engages, and making sure that no one on their teams drop, they're winning out on these plays.
The response from Maryville? Let's go on over towards this Rift Herald. Let's pick this up for ourselves. They got a chunk onto our mid turret last time, but they could not take it. Maybe we'll get another one here. They are in that position where they're starting to have control over the map because yes, Niles having that pressure over towards the top lane, Well, they continue to have the focus on the side lanes, as Maryville tends to do. And their solo laners getting themselves in that spot where they can help the team, but that's a dredge line onto one of them. Speaking of APA, you got a dredge, you got it into more. Bailout ain't gonna be enough.
Ooh.
Does manage to trade the lives with the Chokies here. So you do walk away with something, but that is the elimination of your mid laner.
TP.
Teleport coming through in the back from UST. Robbie Bob, they're collapsing directly under the turret. They don't even need to take down the turret yet before they take down Evan RL. So now, look, you don't have a bot laner, you don't have a mid laner. UST can start to take out some of the vision that MU had previously established and control this area 15 seconds before that soul point comes through.
The good thing for Maryville, APA does have that teleport, so he can at least get back and rejoin this dragon fight, but Evan RL's out of it. So it's a 5v4, and I'm curious to see how hard Maryville pushes. Yes, they do have some of their ultimates up, as many were burned by UST. Uh-oh, Porsche, he's alone.
And the isolation over on the opposite side. Niles had targeted Porsche, so Porsche couldn't go anywhere. Even sending out the Berserk from Shady, zoning off UST. They may have rotated to the river first after those initial picks, but they got pushed out by Maryville.
And that's Porsche not respecting the control that Maryville had on the map. Maryville, when they had that reset before Dragon spawned, they all went bottom. They had the wave shove bottom. Niles was waiting bottom to see if anyone was going for the flank. Porsche entering that brush, he gets caught out, he gets isolated. Really good play for Maryville, being down members, but still finding ways to manipulate the map and get something back in their favor.
And it was something that was looking good for UST for a moment. Oh, it looks like we have some more action here. Shady going down. And the pursuit is continuous. Kitsuo, he's a speedy boy, wants to try to escape, gets the bolo onto one, so Kind can't follow up here. Robbie Bob is over on that top side as well. Some additional security should need be.
And these trades, again, UST, I like how they are trying to get on Maryville's side of the map, trying to make these plays, but Maryville, one for ones. Again, that stalls out the game. Make sure that UST cannot snowball any picks they find into anything more. That's going to benefit them as this game goes on. The fact that they took that dragon, they denied the soul point from UST, that buys another 5 minutes until UST can get that Hextech soul, where they're trying to match some of the scaling that Maryville has. I think that Maryville, slowing down this game, taking a deep breath, showing a lot of their experience, poise as a team that is really favored to win this championship. This is a championship moment. The fact when you can take that deep breath, you can reset, you can survive the onslaught of another team. As Maryville, they're gonna have to do that yet again here. TP's coming in.
Double teleports, one from both sides. The Fate's call to make sure the support will stay alive. A couple knockups on UST. The stun up from Niles, right in the center of them all with a slicing maelstrom. They can follow up. Porsche gonna be low. You get the hook onto Shogo, and again taken out. MU, they win out the fight. They get the haste.
And when St. Thomas took down Maryville in the first ban of the year, Maryville did not have Niles, but guess what? Captain America, he's back at his home, and he's here to play as that cannon ult, that slicing maelstrom was massive, cutting through any hopes that UST had to win that fight. As Maryville, this is a 20-minute Baron they Tigers.
Woo! Does Niles love when he can drop that ultimate in the middle of a jungle too? Go and get that Baron now, drop that Rift Herald top, so much acquired off of that ace.
And UST, you know, understanding they had to play out this early game cleanly, there's no exhaust. There's nothing to stop this slicing maelstrom, nothing to slow it down. As Niles waits for the perfect moment, hits a 4-5 ban ultimate here, just shredding UST any hopes they had in this fight. As Maryville, it doesn't matter who's playing on this team, the roster doesn't matter. They are here to play, they're here, they're poised, and UST, it feels like this game now, just like that, out of reach. Porsche hitting this bot wave, trying to take the minions away, and Maryville, they can rotate out. Porsche doesn't have Ghost, only has that ultimate. As UST, they're going to have to push to try and support their top laner, who's caught getting one shot.
Shady used the Hex to get over there, too. Didn't even need him, though. APA finishing off the job. Slicing Maelstrom once again. Niles for the rest of the team. Kitsuo hops onto Evan RL, but the follow-up with the Death Ray from APA onto Chokies means that he's already marked down, gets stunned, brings himself over back to Kitsuo's side. Daisy creates some distance, and Shady from the opposite end throws down the Berserk, lands onto a couple of them. Base call to bring him back into the safe zone. Once again, Kitsuo flashing away because Kind Jungle has him in his sights, takes him down. UST back away with the remaining members that they have.
And I love how slow Maryville plays out that fight. Just waiting to try and isolate Kitsuo away from that Ivern of Robbie Bob. That start you could pretty much ask for when it comes to Rengar Ivern. It's not enough to win, as our observers playing games with us. Of course, not spotted.
Oh. That's a lot of red on the other side. I thought I was safe. There's a wall here, right? But no, they still came from a throat.
And Maryville ahead on the play, forcing UST to base. That's going to be an inhibitor turret, likely an inhibitor to fall in favor of Maryville. As they're checking all the boxes, doing everything they can to make sure this game 2, goes in their favor. 1 game away from the finals. And honestly, this was the set that we pitched as the true final. We'll see if they're even able to get out on the map to contest this Baron.
Right now, just trying to wait things out because jungle is just a very scary place to be. Look at all those control wards and more that MU could throw down on their previous push. Baron now officially starting. They have the scuttle right in front of it. A continuous movement from UST here. They feel we can't make a play elsewhere, so we might as well try to contest this. Deathray to zone off. Kitsuo goes for the backside with Niles. Lots of ultimates available, though, that you have to be worried about. Root onto Kind. Jungle brings himself back into the pit. Teleport coming through, so Porsche has made his way here as well. Activates the needlework. Fate's call to bring Shading safety again. So Maryville, they've just had a lot of disengage opportunities once they see the most powerful ultimates activated from UST.
They still have Daisy, they still have depth charge, but I mean, Maryville can just easily hit base and try and reset. Yeah, I think that the health bars were traded pretty evenly. Maryville not wanting to risk it with how far ahead they are in this game. Again, I think they're making the wise, the patient, the poised decision here, just stalling this game out and making sure that the winning angles are the fights that they want to take on their terms, not on UST's.
See where they go from here. Maryville, after getting those backs because of those lower bars, they're bringing their way back over towards the Baron pit.
Spotted.
Starting it up, a couple controls and more from UST from that previous skirmish, but this is starting to burn down, reaching the 50% mark in HP on the Baron already. Throwing through, Shogo, not really a place to connect, so UST, they don't have anything they can do there. Baron secured by Maryville University.
Best thing that UST can do is to try and play for the Dragon. And in classic Maryville fashion, you know, usually we would see teams reset here and make sure that they can test this Dragon, they get it for themselves. Maryville, no, they just want gold. They want to utilize the Baron push as hard as they can. So you can see UST, they're camping the portal in case anyone comes to contest this Dragon, but they can't even stick around for it. Because Maryville stayed in this top lane, because they're now TPing to this top lane, they want to increase the pace of the game. They want to use this Baron, they want to use it now.
And they still have that teleport from Niles too, because he's been holding on to that to push in some of the other lanes, but hasn't had to use it because he's had the effective rotation to the team when the objectives come up. So now, Wave pushing over on this top side. Niles ushering the Baron empowered Wave over in mid too, because they can try and pull some of the pressure from UST between the two lanes. Even with that, they take down the inhibitor turret. Oh no, he was right in the center. There's that teleport that we were talking about coming through from Niles. Needlework activated from Porsche once again, but he has to retreat. He cannot pursue this anymore. Kind has been chunked down, so that is a moment of solstice for UST, and Daisy able to tank up a lot of the damage here, but that's a powerful force that's coming through. Supers pushing over in that bot lane that you have to be worried about, because they already took that previous inhibitor. They're looking to take this next one. Look at the range. Kitsuo tries to go through, gets the root onto one, but can they follow up to Deathray? And actually the Chaos Storm now able to slice through them as well. APA getting rooted on the pursuit, but look, the Supers, they made it over towards those Nexus turrets. They start chunking down one, about 30% here.
Niles still has ult. Niles, if they want to go, Niles does still have flash and ult. That's of course we have to look for, but instead Maryville, that's enough for them. As okay, Kind has a buddy. See if UST looks. I think they have to.
Oh, Shogo goes in with a killer into the dredge line onto one. The Maelstrom in the back line, but two are eliminated from UST. Niles coming out of stasis, shut down. 50 seconds on his timer, but the rest of the team is still up, and Porsche is low. Where can he go? Victor taken down, though. Everybody is still looking like they're in dangerous territory. Oh no, Shogo, it's just Porsche now. Goes into stasis, still has a little bit of security from the towers, so he can go heal up in the base right now. And on the other side, MU very weak with their remaining HP.
because Kind Jungle, his base is synced up with that Baron start. And taking Baron against Kennen and Victor, yes, it is a nightmare. That magic damage debuff the Baron gives you does not feel good into those two champions, but what other chance do you have to come back and win this game as UST? You have to pick your spot. You have to take a risk now. I feel like with Kind Jungle being down, that was an angle where they could have tried something, but I think the plan for UST is to still separate the members of MU and try and take advantage of how bad Shogo is. He's level 17. He has 4 items as a marksman. He is the late game saving grace again this game for UST and has really snuck up in how big he's gotten on this Kai'Sa. So I think all eyes, again, on Shogo. If he's able to have the dream team fight, that's really the only way UST can be competitive in this game.
Are you playing to win, or are you playing not to lose? And that's where sometimes it can feel like the risky plays, but when you got the lead that MU had established before, you got to go for the risk and see if it can pay off. Believe in what Shogo can do when set up properly.
MU clearing out this mid wave. They can take their time. They have supers pushing in the bot side, and they have the fast track to Baron. As we'll see if they end up pulling it. There is a nice control board here for UST, so knowing that Maryville hasn't started it yet, we're able to posture a little bit further up towards that tower, but you gotta believe that Maryville, at some point, I'm wondering if they're gonna shift their control over to the bot side, because Hextech Soul with 4 Hextech Dragons, that is the more powerful objective than Baron. I feel like Maryville should be trying to target that instead of trying to start up this Baron, as we'll see if they can test the next mid wave and try and shift their power down there as UST still sticking strong as 5, but no one's dealing with that bot wave.
35 seconds on the clock until that next dragon spawns. MU deciding when the right time to start up this Baron is. They know those supers are in the base currently for UST. And another level of supers coming through. So Porsche has to be on cleanup duty here.
No TP for Porsche.
No teleport to get back into the fight should it break out. UST still looking to try and zone this out a bit, but Niles wants to go for some zoning of his own. Gets the slicing maelstrom. They pop down. Joki's in now. Niles in stasis keeps himself up even with a little sliver of life. And MU, they know that Porsche isn't here. They know they took down 1. They still have the numbers advantage, but they got pushed off the Baron. So that's a pretty big thing. Shogo right into the backline with a killer instinct. APA getting zoned off. Arabi Bob here. The Chaos Storm preventing him from rejoining the rest of the team. So while UST do lose 1, they take them off the objective and they want to try and continue through with some sort of effect.
Niles and APA, they both have TP. Porsche does have his up now, but UST, this is a fed Kai'Sa. They're going to melt this Baron, but the fight after could be deadly.
All of MU are here. Niles teleported over towards the mid lane, so the Baron was taken, but Kind getting rooted really and Niles taken down. Shogo, the power is strong. Evan using the Shogo. That's a double kill here. That's a triple kill. That's a quadra kill. Shogo, baby, can you do it? Going with the rest of the team says, I am not vain. I'm not trying to go for it.
Oh my goodness.
Instead, I'm going for the play with my team. Kitsuo finishes them off. That's the ace that UST were looking for.
And UST against all odds against this late game comp from Maryville. It is the indecision from the experienced team of Maryville and Shogo, who came over here from Israel to prove himself the highest level competition you can play outside Academy. He's the one that carries his team across the finish line and evens up this series.
Let's go UST, baby! The fans rocking it in the audience. The series coming to an even head, 1-1.
And I mean, when they were down 2 inhibitors, I was asking for St. Thomas, prove this is the true final. Prove that you are here to take down Maryville. Shogo answered the call. Shogo showed up to the occasion. The fact that he was able to pump out all the damage of the 4v5, look at UST giving Shogo all that love on the way out. They know how well that he played to prove that they were the ones to even up this series. And man, that is a huge change of momentum, change of pace in this best of 5.
Oh, that's so much pressure that he had to feel on those shoulders, because that rarely was the opening. It's just, all right, yeah, you got a Kai'Sa, she's pretty big, can you do something with her? And that's exactly what happened. UST never losing faith in their ability to win that game, even when things were looking dire, bringing it back.
I mean, again, one of the leaders of this team, Kitsuo is the one that is the shot caller, but Shogo, from talking with a lot of the UST guys, definitely someone that is an emotional leader, something that, you know, people look up to him. The fact that he came overseas to play League of Legends here, that's a life experience a lot of these college kids don't have. Shogo has that, And the fact that against all odds, you know, he steps up, he makes it happen for his squad. What a game from Shogo.
This is a very confident player. Whenever you hear some of the thoughts that he shared with some of the casters or the other teams, very much believes in his ability, which is what you need from someone when they're playing the Kaisa and have to do what he did there. And I know that they'll be looking to see if the rest of the team can perform that again in this series. We're gonna head on over to the analyst desk. Let's see exactly how all of that just happened.
A near pensa for Shogo and ending the game that looked like it was lost.
Yeah, and credit to him for not greeting for that pentakill and going for the end of the game, right? You know, APA going on the other side of the map to kind of stall the game out. But, you know, Shogo has his eyes on the prize, right? So definitely respect that.
And there's something to be said about APA. Even if you look at the charts in front of us, too. I believe, Smacks, you were the one who so poisely said that he was playing PvE the entire game.
Yeah. I think that game was won by Shogo. And the other games that they had 2 days ago, they were won by Shogo, but they were also won by Robbie Bob and the rest of the squad. I think they can more easily win these games out by relying on the rest of the team, too.
But like you said, both these hyper carries in the bot side are going to have to step up. Shogo has mentioned he likes to play these main character players, but the series is not all tied up. It's time to see who pulls ahead in game number 3 coming right up after this. Whose anime arc is it going to be, baby?
Welcome back to the College Championship. This matchup between Maryville University and University of St. Thomas has been highly anticipated, and now with it being 1-1, I think a lot of those expectations have been met. I'm super stoked. Felt like he just had more agency, whereas the Vigar in game number 1 eventually lost some of that opportunity to follow up on his own. Still steering a little bit of a different direction. The Zaya now locked in.
I like this because it's a deny as well from Azog, who that Zaya, you know, you can press R, go invulnerable, dodge out, you know, on the Camille, the Syndra, the Wukong combos if you are Shogo, but also it would have been a really powerful pick here on the blue side for Maryville, but will not be the case. Instead, some comfort will be the Zeri, and would not be surprised if we have Leona locked in here as well.
Leona's always a good go-to. We saw plenty of her in the quarterfinals, just haven't quite seen her here in semifinals yet. Reliable, engage, shady, plenty of experience on the pick, just like most supports that are playing at this level.
And that's looking like it will be the call. So Corki locked in for Robbie Bob. That is a ton of scaling now on the side of UST. So I think Maryville, these fights can be really important that they get their side laners, their solo laners ahead, and they're able to use that to force into UST early, whereas if Robbie Bob is allowed to go late on this Corki, it could be really tough to deal with him in the later stages of the game. That range, that poke, makes fighting around objectives really difficult. On the sleeve, it really feels like they're like the all-American team here for Collegiate, whereas UST, again, that upstart, that first-year program, putting together an impressive roster, an impressive run this season, making it the top 4, trying to take down Maryville now as we hit the Rift 4-2.
Let's get it. Maryville back over here on blue side, bringing their lineup over towards the Rift. University of St. Thomas, very different look from anything we have seen thus far. While Kitsuo, I'm sure, was happy to have the chance to rock the Rengar that he loves so much, now going to something more standard in Lee Sin.
And this is a champion that is a Kitsuo favorite as well. I mean, the fact that he's taking it into that Wukong matchup, I think speaks to the comfort that Kitsuo does have on the Lee Sin as well, respectively for each team. As honestly, the quietest start we've had so far, something that I think that, honestly, I would say for the early game, you got to believe it benefits the side of UST, because again, Robbie Bob is that champion on the Corki that really can break the script of the late game, can give UST that big advantage moving forward.
Right now, Robbie Bob is going to go for that back, though. A lot of that chunk down odd orange here, keeping his eyes on him, but they're not going to follow up on it in any type of way. For UST, Kitsuo is here on the wraparound, starting to clear out some of that bot side jungle of odd oranges, waiting in the bush. Wave pushing under the tower, so they're going for the dive, going forward. Galio getting a little bit stunned up, but they lock on down. First blood. Azar goes away to the wayside. Kitsuo looking to fall momentarily as well. Will do so, because guess what? Were they expecting APA to come on through? I don't think so.
I don't think so, but that was part of this mid lane matchup. The fact that APA pressured Robbie Bob, forced him to TP back to the mid lane to catch that wave. APA then base was freed up to answer that dive on the side of UST, and APA, a player known for how he's able to pressure and play the map, comes up huge for Maryville, deciding the TP bot to impact this play early.
And the numbers advantage that UST had is what allowed them to go for this dive. But as soon as that teleport comes in, you know it's going to be more difficult. That upfront damage that Cinder just has right off the top, the burn is good. So they get the trades. Top lane here looking very bloody thus far. And now Niles is worried because Kitsuo is here at full HP. Thought he could take on the Ornn, but a friend was here for the help.
Yeah, Niles was fighting to try and get that wave in, and Kitsuo, he did path top to bot, so that is a time of the game where you would expect the jungler to be on that top side, clearing out the second round of camps. Kitsuo showing up, making a big impact. Niles didn't get that wave in, gets punished, and that's what we were asking for as well. Impacting the Ornn lane early, utilizing some of that early base damage, some of that early gank assist. Really good play by Kitsuo, and that helps Ornn. Ornn does lose this matchup in side lanes, especially as time goes on, but you are still that huge, beefy frontliner that can really help your team start these fights, start these engagements.
1 kill up, even in CS in the top lane. APA with the single kill, as well as up in farm. Now Dragon, the first one acquired for Maryville University because of that previous pressure. So starting to build up in some of these solo laners specifically. We'll have to see if they end up going for it. You can see the hovers coming around Kitsuo right here by the Rift Herald, but so is Niles just walking into the pit to create that space for Odd Orange. Control here in Pixel, flash on over. Hextech Ultimatum is isolating Kitsuo. Niles right there in the back, but Shogo already pretty strong. Gets a lot of damage laid down. Horn coming through, not really gonna find what it needs, but it's the double kill here for APA. Follow-up is pretty darn good. There's a double kill in response though by Shogo. Flashes away. A very safe play from him in the final moment to keep him alive. It's a couple lives traded here. And you can see where the power is coming from, right? Shogo had already had a kill and was really starting to get that farm, a lot more farm than Izog was able to previously. But then APA on the other side, a very similar story, and it all painted a picture in that fight.
And both of those two now sitting at 3-0 on the scoreboard. So much gold going to be on the Syndra as Robbie Bob gonna go a little bit aggressive, but can't get onto APA. And honestly, we could see a rinse and repeat of that Rift Herald. Yes, UST did lose out on the play. The one good thing for UST is that they did stall out the timer. They did maybe buy an opportunity for Robbie Bob to go get that package, but they've actually started it up first, and I think Niles is catching that wave. He's now actually skipping out of it as Maryville, they want to fight again.
Oh yeah, he's coming through. Odd Orange is the first one to make contact. APA getting some damage onto Porsche. Knock up from Porsche onto two members of Maryville University, but the stun up here directly into the pit. Odd Orange eliminated, traded out for Porsche here. Flashes away from UST, and Robbie Bob completely zoned off by the bot laners. They pick up the kill, 2 for 1.
But St. Thomas have already taken 2 plates off this bot lane turret. Now Kitsuo is rotating over with this Rift Herald. If they're able to turn this into first brick, snowball things from there, start to take the map away from Maryville. With Shogo being so fed, with this Corki just being an absolute beast in the late game, I think St. Thomas are in a really good position to start off this game.
11:30 on the clock. Plates still go down. They almost take down the entirety of this turret, even with the player presence of MU towards this spot side. Lots of action to be had mid, though. Because of that, APA was left alone. Doesn't have the protection of the team. Porsche and Robbie Bob end up responding. One final rocket does it. The missile lands. APA taken down, but the fight continues over on the bot side. Shady exiting the situation after getting lit up by that Ignite. The wave pushing over towards bot, so they do take down that first turret. Lots of action across the entirety of the map. The 1v1 still continuing over towards top side. Hook shot from Niles used to create that distance.
Robbie Bob and the poke from the Corki gets you health bar advantages.
It's true, we haven't really seen the full effect of the Corki just yet when he's got that bug. We got a fight breaking out now. Teleport coming in from both sides. The solar flare immediately locked. Choki's knocked up and back and into the grave. Can they follow up? Niles is on the outskirts and Porsche has his number, but Odd Orange creates some of that space.
Yeah, that kick from Kitsuo pushing APA in the wrong direction as UST trying to force before they get Robbie Bob's package is now Niles.
Still going for it onto Robbie Bob. They know that he's a big threat right now, so they immediately eliminate them. MU do have some of the security of their turret currently, but Kitsuo is low enough. They get a bit of a shock through the wall. That's the power that Zeri has to offer. They don't finish up the kill. They did take down that mid laner previously, though. No Corki here.
Yeah, I think UST just pushing a little bit too hard. Again, you have package coming up on the Corki. Wait for that. You are fighting without Shogo. He's the one that's really fed on your team. Wait for Shogo to get there. The fact that kick goes sideways, I think the fight afterwards, good punishes from Maryville, but UST just playing their hand a little bit too hard.
Sometimes you have the play in mind, and even when it doesn't go quite right at the start of it, you feel that need to follow through. But in this case, a little bit of an overstep. Still plenty of time to recover. That lead that they have had in gold, a little bit slivered off, but it's still holding on.
Shogo is just shredding this Zeri and Wukong in the mid lane as... I mean, yes, that play, it did not go UST's way. But the back half of the play, Robbie Bob has package, should be able to take that top lane outer. Mid outer is about to fall for UST. Second dragon falls for UST. And even when that play goes sideways, the recovery on the map for UST, they're still the ones coming out on top.
And that package, it's here. A bit different than a few patches ago when the packages would come a little early. So now...
It still feels like the change of momentum in this best of 5. The fact that Shogo willed his team to victory in the last game. All of a sudden, UST, they're the ones that have the advantage. And now APA, the Fed member of Maryville, he's caught on the wrong side of the map as Robbie Bob, UST, they're chasing him down.
They're pushing for it. Multiple members of UST. A final hit from Robbie Bob, and with the biggest point of power for Maryville University not here.
This point of hand.
And UST has bested Maryville in the past, even though there seems to always be an emphasis on Maryville because of their history. This is a team that has brought together such a unique roster that is very capable when it comes to a best of 5. We've seen the adaptations in the draft. Even with the similarities of the first and second game, they were still making those bot lane changes, sending Shogo back onto the marksman, which he showed power. Robbie Bob flashing outside of the solar flare, has the teleport coming in for assistance from the team. These rockets are going to hit really far, though. The missile to finally finish off. Shady no longer here. On orange into the back line. Teleport coming in from Maryville University, but Shogo, he's over by Krugs. He's here for the fight. He's here to try to get in some of these autos. Even flashes to get a bit of a better positioning. Auto orange is out of it, but Kitsuo flashing for it as well. Gets the kick onto APA. APA goes into stasis, still alive. Flashes to create distance for himself. Forsh wants to go for the knockup onto Azog, but can't quite find it. Look at that burst fire coming from Azog, though, wanting to get the damage down, but a chunky boy in this Galio, just shields of Duran to keep him tanky. Knock up on Orange as he comes in through it, but the Q hits really nicely when you're looking at the bot laner from MU. You have to be careful about it, and you don't have Robbie Bob here. APA marked down so low. Heroes Enders to come through. Porsche zoned off by Azog. All right, Azog, we see you. He wants to bring his eyes over back towards UST. The rest of the team is backing off, though, so he's going to do the same.
And you can see Maryville, that play, it's a reach, but it's what Maryville needs to do to win this game. They need to force now. And the fact that it goes even, I still think it favors the side of Maryville. I think they're going to get the dragon while we go into replays. Take a second look. Really good Q flash from Shady as Robbie Bob does respond. Shady does go down, but I mean, look at how deep Maryville goes to try and make this work. Odd Orange will ult flash to try and get Robbie Bob. Niles going to burn flash and ult to try and get Robbie Bob. And they do take him down in the end, but it's on the back half of the play where with all the spells, all the summoners being used early, it's Azog the one that pops off on the Zeri, stacking up this passive as he just goes skirt all around the tanks of UST.
UST right here, I don't know if they were thinking about when you look at Azog and where he's getting, oh, never mind, we got a fight coming through here. Now standing right on top of that special delivery, the stun into the back line. Odd Orange is in it again, goes into stasis himself. The response from Porsche is using the ultimate that really is just his zone. They want to disengage here, but they're actually in continuation. The stun, look at the damage onto Shogo from APA right now. Also, APA just right now got his ultimate back up, so you gotta be worried about that unleashed power if he decides to throw that on you. UST aware of it. MU first wants to get over towards this dragon and should be able to collect it for themselves to even out the dragon score. Teleport coming in the bot lane from UST.
They're gonna give. Wow, Maryville, they know that they're down. Remember, they know that they don't have the summoner spell, the ults they need to fight this. So they give it away. And while it was a valiant effort from APA, that double scatter was pretty nasty, almost turned the fight in Maryville's favor. It's UST using the teleport, getting the reset out from Robbie Bob. Smart play from them, and that's 3 dragons. That's now Soul Point, Cloud Soul. That's one way I guess you can kind of run down Zeri or try and navigate around it. It's not the best role, but again, more power going over to UST. In APA, another player that we feel like is someone that could be considered for the higher level. He's got to step up here as that's a big 2-man scatter. Again, the movement from APA, trying to dodge out of everything he can, but he's low.
As great as he has been at hitting Cork, he loves hit the missiles.
Really?
Cycloning right there in the back. Deep Kitsuo goes, but the collapse here means that Niles is the first to fall. Ornworn sidestepped by APA. Flashes away. Kitsuo still's got his angry eyes going. They're bringing the little bit of the wave that they have remaining. It's just enough to take down this turret and take down this inhibitor.
Beautiful play from UST. Again, UST, they can reset 55 seconds away from Dragon. You have the Baron and Power recalls. You have an inhibitor wave knocked down. And again, desperation from Maryville. Yes, this game is tough and out of reach, but APA, that is your big carry. He was 300 HP when you flash in and go in. Niles too deep. I feel like Maryville...
For UST, again, not the greatest soul that they would have loved to roll if it was all in their control, but still a soul at that.
And there's no hope for Maryville on this map. Oh, what? What?
Packaging in. Robbie Bob's life is not long for the world, but neither is the Leona's. Robbie Bob taken out of the fight, still alive though. A lot of poke from Azog onto Shogo here. A little bit of a showdown between the bot laners while the rest of the team fights over on the top side. After using the Hextech ultimatum, Niles eventually falls. The remainder of UST still alive. Azog was just not here. A lot of the fight was split off by MU. Featherstorm to go and finish off. Now it is just Odd Orange. Waves coming through, has the towers here, but do they dive? Do they finish him? They do manage to get the kill. They've got everything they need to finish this game. A quicker end than we have seen before. Shady spawns back up the last stand from the veteran of MU, but UST pull ahead in this series.
Robbie Bob, somehow the blind package works. It finds 3 as UST take the wipe and are now 1 game away from denying Maryville their reappearance in the finals this split. As it's hugs all around for UST, but hey, there's still 1 more game to go. You still gotta take 1 more game out. And that's tough to do against Maryville, the team that has the most experience in this tournament, the team that if anyone is going to have their backs up against the wall, we expect them to be the ones that can stay poised in the series. But man, ever since that Game 2 fight from Shogo, it really feels like the tides of this series have shifted in favor of UST. And I mean, the confidence of UST, and I think the start they had as well, setting Niles behind. We asked for that. Shogo picking up those 3 kills, being that big DPS marksman. I mean, what a series Shogo's been having. It was Game 2 the reason that they put the first win on the scoreboard. Game 3, he was the big carry. And even in Game 1, he was the reason they were in the game on that Vigar. I know, again, for Shogo, this was his opportunity. He really felt like this was his stage to make his mark. He has been fantastic in these first 3 games. I want to see if he can do it again for the rest of the series.
For a player with very heavy aspirations for his career, this is what you want to see from him, proving himself in the semifinals. I mean, UST, they hand Maryville a 2nd loss in such a fashion. And with match point on the horizon, we're going to go ahead and head on over to the analyst desk.
And welcome back to Season 2 of the Shogo Show, where, as you've seen in Season 1, Maryville was able to find him, but in Season 2, he's so far they can't even watch the episodes. At this point, he wasn't on the same screen as them more often than not, Columner.
We've been hyping him up the entire tournament leading into this matchup. We said that UST's best matchup might be bot side, where Maryville, they're probably the weakest bot side potentially in terms of how they play around them going into it. And Shogo's just been so dominant. Cubby was touching on it. This is probably the best series performance we've seen from any player in this entire tournament.
I mean, fingers crossed we get renewed for a Season 3 at this point for Shogo.
Hopefully.
Because these games have been just so fun. And I loved the Vagar too. That creativity was nice. But there's just something that hits different about Shogo playing these marksmen.